topic with empathy and openness.
For sure.
All right. So the basic session structure, as we discussed.
Yeah.
Topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, and then how we experience the topic, what it makes us feel, and what we can do about it. Because it's not only about the experiences; it's about what we can do about it.
Well, yeah, just discussing things without a plan of action or support means you're just running in circles.
Yeah, we want to break the cycle. And then I don't know. That's like ta-da!
Ta-da!
We're here.
The more we get into it, the more kind of things we'll branch out into, and different segments we can have. We have an idea for what's called a bro challenge, where we pose each other challenges for a month, and it's challenges to make us better people.
Yeah.
So it's not challenges we want each other to fail, and it's not easy challenges that don't matter. It's challenges we think is important to each other to be better than we are today.
Yeah. Oh man.
That sounds
daunting.
That sounds it sounds
sounds
crazy, but it could also be really you can make it really stupid and just I challenge you to make what was it? I was thinking about like your case. Like I can't challenge you to be running marathons right now because you got kids and a family. I got to challenge you to do something that makes you better.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
I don't. He doesn't. And so I want to challenge him, to do something that makes him happy and makes him, maybe a better father, a better husband, and a better man in general.
All right.
So
cool.
I think we can move on to our initial topic. Do you have any topic for discussion?
I have topics.
All right.
I was actually going to start with nightmares.
Holy fuck, I hate nightmares.
Yeah, I was going to just, boom, let's go.
Oh, God. Yeah, let's see. I have recurring nightmares, and a lot of that has to do with my health trauma. I've had 2 kidney transplants, kidney failure, dialysis, all kinds of trouble since I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And so I'd say within the last 28 years, there's never been more than a 3 to 6 month span where I have not had a nightmare about losing my transplant.
Damn.
And going back on dialysis. And it just sucks.
It does.
So very hard.
When you have that nightmare, when you wake up, what's your first thought?
Am I actually losing my kidney?
Yeah.
That's it before like my brain catches up and knows that I'm awake and that was a nightmare and it isn't happening.
Yeah.
Because I think when you have like zombie dreams or you have those other kind of nightmares where you're like getting chased by like a pterodactyl or some shit, you wake up and you're like,
yeah,
those don't exist.
Yeah, like that was too. It was too strange for me to even really care.
It's too stupid, and you're just like, okay. I immediately know, like, zombies don't exist. But when it's, like, something that's truly possible and real for you, I think it's 10 times more scary than if it's some made-up monster.
Can you fall back asleep after something like that? Or are you just, like, does it take hours?
Yes, I can, and sometimes it's, like, a continual hell for me.
Yeah.
As in, I will go back to sleep and go right back to that dream. And then I'll wake up and I'll go back to sleep right to that dream.
Oh, man.
And it happens like the entire night and there's like nothing I can do to stop it.
It's rough.
Yeah. I mean, you ever have that where you just have a dream and you're just like, oh, I'm out of the dream. So you're like,
go right back to it.
You go right back to sleep and you're just like,
you're back.
And you do it so often, you're like questioning your reality at that point because you're like waking up and like, oh, it's not real. And then you're going into sleep, oh, it's real. Oh,
it's
back. It's not real. It's real. It's not real. Yeah, so I absolutely hate those dreams.
Those are terrible feelings. It sounds bad. But so, what can you do about it? Is there anything?
I think there is, because there's been stretches where it's been worse, like now, where my kidney is indeed actually failing again.
Yeah.
And so it's gotten worse to where it's more of a monthly to every couple of week occurrence instead of like 3 to 6 months.
Have you been able to correlate it with any kind of like triggering stimuli in your day to day, or is it like when you're overstressed, you're having these?
It's usually when I'm overstressed for whatever specific reason that's when it tends to happen. So if I can keep myself less stressed, that's a good point to do. But also maybe when I'm having it, like maybe giving myself that 30-minute break before I try and go back to sleep, so I don't just continuously go back into a state of terror,
to go straight back into it. Just be back into the cycle. When you're in the dream, do you know that you're dreaming?
Sometimes. Most of the time, no. Like I said, it gets really confusing, especially if you have that cycle where you're waking up and going back to sleep, because then it really like kind of messes with your brain.
Yeah, you don't know what's reality.
Because you know you're sleeping, and you know you're awake, but it kind of blends in together in this big ball of whatever, and until you wake up for a solid 20 minutes, like you can't for sure distinguish that.
A friend of mine, Colin, gave me some pointers because he was going through, I guess, like dream training and finding out different ways to identify that you're in a dream. Because I think that his intent was to understand when he's dreaming and to achieve lucidity or to have some control over his dreams. And he was saying, look at your hands, because your hands in your dream state are weird, and sometimes they'll be like your finger lengths will be wrong. It'll be like, your index finger will be longer than your middle, and it'll be like, and then you look at your hands and you'll be like, oh, these aren't my hands. And then when you realize that you're in a dream, you will eventually have the ability to wake up or to change the landscape of the dream. The other thing that I do more regularly, because I never remember to look at my hands, is I'll turn around in my dream, and then it will always be a different scene, which is super weird.
Yeah, that's a peculiar thing that doesn't work the same for me.
Yeah.
I've had a lucid dream a few times.
Yeah.
And like, it's always absurd what triggers me into knowing that I'm in a dream. Like sometimes it's the most mundane crap imaginable, and I'm like the first time I did it, I was ballroom dancing, and I was like 9 years old, and I'm like,
this is ridiculous.
I don't know how to dance. And like that's the whole thing that jolted me out of it.
Yeah.
And then the problem is my body woke up before my brain did.
Yeah.
So I literally crawling down like my bunk bed, and I was like visually still in the dream.
Yeah.
So I was like sweating balls because like I could not wake up.
Yeah.
I could feel myself climbing down. Yeah. And I got out to like the hallway before my like eyes were able to open into the waking world. Wow. And it was, scary as crap.
That is scary.
But it's hilarious now.
Yeah.
So yeah, as for, I can get a sense of it when, like, the dread is overwhelming to a point where it's like, it doesn't make sense with my waking reality. Like, like I could, even know if my kidney were failing, I still wouldn't feel this type of dread.
Yeah.
So I know that it's my own brain just
it's like
trying
your
to punish
brain
me,
triggering that fear response, and when you're in the dream, it's like a deep, saturated fear, which is, I mean, there's certainly fear feelings when you're conscious, but
yeah, it feels like
different in, I feel like, terms of magnitude.
There's, I think it's just since your reality is so much more synthesized by thoughts and feelings when you're in a dream.
Yeah.
The reality seems that much more like emotional and visceral because there is no like concrete reality to what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's tough. As for it, things I've done to help is like be around people who are supportive. Obviously, that helps.
Yeah.
You know,
But that doesn't help you sleep.
Well,
or not have nightmares. It might help you talk about it. And then, so when you talk about it, I take that back, it helps. When you talk about it,
Yeah.
it helps understand the feeling.
Mhm.
And then that understanding takes a little bit of the weight away.
True. Yeah. Usually, that's one of those things when you share stuff with people. It's a divider of weight, and so even though you're passing on some of your stress or depression onto somebody else, you're each carrying less than you were.
I don't think it's that you're passing it on. I think you're both letting it go, and you're helping each other let it go. Because it's not like you telling me this story is making me depressed. It's not. It's
No.
you're sharing with me, and then collectively we're helping release it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. In certain instances, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I
There
thi-
are certain things that are heavy, like,
yeah, this is a dream, and it's like when I wake up after I'm up for 40 minutes, it doesn't really bother me so much. It's just, now I'm tired because instead of being rested, I've had nightmares all night.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the main problem with the nightmare. Not that
True.
it's like totally consuming my life, it's just that I don't get good sleep.
Also, I feel like if I'm in a pattern where I'm having lots of nightmares,
Mhm.
then you almost dread sleep.
Oh,
And-
yeah, for
and
sure.
so you don't even want to fall asleep. It's like,
Yeah, I've had that.
I don't even know if I want to go to bed right now.
One time, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, I had a bad strait of anxiety where I literally was afraid to go to sleep, and I could take like a full milligram or even 2 milligrams of benzodiazepine or Ativan or whatever, and I could not sleep
Yeah.
because I was just so terrified
Are
of
those
it.
sleeping pills? I don't really know. What those
Benzos are anti-anxiety medications.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're like downers in the sense that they calm you,
are. Oh yeah.
but they're not necessarily
Anti-anxiety.
Yeah, they're not necessarily
Sleep.
sleeping pills.
Yeah.
It was horrible, and it took me a couple weeks to get out of that funk where I wasn't like scared to go to sleep, which
Yeah.
is probably one of the suckier experiences I've had in my life.
Yeah.
Because sleep is such an essential thing to.
It is. It's one of those platform things.
So what about you, man? We talked all about my horrible dream
Yeah.
about kidney failure, among other terrible nightmares I
I have
have.
a few recurring dreams.
Sure.
I think my most common recurring dreams is being in a firefight, and because I was in the
Oh.
military.
Yeah.
And I was in a very point blank firefight and had a gun jam. And so I'll have these dreams where I'll be fighting someone and, I'm like trying to shoot them and they just won't die and my gun isn't working. And it's either that or my other recurring dream about the military is that I'm back in the military and I don't have any of my equipment. I don't have my uniform, and I'm so stressed at finding all of my stuff. And A, I don't want to be there, but B, I'm like, shit, they're gonna tear me apart because I don't have the right shoes, the right socks. Where is my rifle? I have no idea. I don't even have weapons, and I'm going to war.
And you're like, and it seems like the first one with the gun seems absolutely terrifying and would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But the second one, we're like, I can't find my shirt. It could be so bad.
That's right. Yeah, it's like that one's like, it's like me just
I mean-
stressing myself out because I'm not wearing the right socks.
Yeah.
Seems like so. It's like there's the experience, right? That's what I'm experiencing. And how it makes me feel. It makes me feel dread. But then if I just sit back and I think about it, it's like if they really gave a shit about the socks I was wearing, they would give me new socks. It's like it'll be fine. I'll get new socks.
Yeah, it's funny that, like I said, I was terrified. I was in a ballroom dancing scenario, and that's what snapped me awake. And
Yeah.
it was just like, there's nothing terrifying about that situation.
Right.
And yeah, but
Unless you're worried about your performance.
That's true. Yeah, you're
I feel
right.
like dancing is very. It's one of those.
But I mean, like a fear for your life kind of thing. It's not the same as that other one. And like on another level, you like the kidney stuff with me. That's a fear for my life.
That is.
That's a fear for your life. That doesn't sound silly, but then like the dancing thing seems a little silly. The fact that you can't find it, but it terrifies you.
Yeah.
It seems silly, but it's still terrifying for whatever fucking reason. It's terrifying to you.
Yeah.
Because something must have happened to you at some point in the army, and they like threw you in a toilet or some shit. I don't fucking know because I mean
no, they used to have inspections.
Oh
all the time.
yeah, I've seen that in movies for sure.
Yeah, it's absolutely. They like you have a layout where your socks have to be perfectly rolled. Next to your boots, and you have to have the right amount of uniforms, and they have to be presented in a specific way. And if your stuff is all messed up, they're in their face, they're yelling at you, they're calling you a piece of shit. Your team leader's in trouble, therefore you're in trouble, and then you're getting extra duty. They're making you work out more. You're not living your best life anymore.
No, I wouldn't imagine so.
It's like if you don't know where your stuff is, if your stuff is unaccounted for, I can't tell you how many times that our platoon was in trouble for losing a thing. And then we have to go find the thing. It's just, it's ridiculous. So,
I know. I yeah, it seems like, maybe, I'm not saying like you gotta like, be all, like super soft or nice when you're in the army, but like some things may not instill the right value set.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Well,
you want to be ready all the time, and you need to be ready, and you have to have that mindset.
Sure.
Well, like maybe there's just
the sensitive equipment thing. So like, what happened? Like, I had a buddy who lost a set of his night vision goggles, and then they're like, you have to find them. And we had been doing some nighttime activities in the. I think this was when we were in Germany, and so like. And we were doing all types of stuff, running around, crawling around. And so then you have to go through those places. And so it reminds me of combing the desert. It's like...
Spaceballs?
Yeah, for real though. It's like you got to bust out the combs, comb the desert. Find those night vision goggles.
Yeah. No, I get you, man. That I could understand how, like, that would stay with you because you're like, it's such a small thing and they make it such a big thing.
Yeah.
But I also get it. Like, small things matter when somebody's shooting a gun at you.
Well, let's see here to close the thread on nightmares.
Sure.
So, the different things that we can do about it. Something that I do. Don't know if this will work for everyone. Maybe some of the viewers will find it helpful.
For sure.
Is to write them down. Write down your nightmares. Or to write down your dreams in general. To keep a dream journal. Because sometimes dreams are kind of a manifestation of something that we're thinking about or thoughts or something that's happening, and we haven't like let it go. And so when you write it down, you can then think about what that experience is and then how it makes you feel and then ultimately what you can do about it. But until you give that some thought, I think, again, we're not professionals. I think that you can't let it go. So I used to have a dream journal. I've kind of let it go over the years, but when I was a kid, I was doing it much more because I've been having nightmares before I was in the military. Like, I remember nightmares from when I was a little kid, just like, when you had this ballroom dancing one when you were 9. I remember my first super vivid dream was, like, when I was, like, 7 or something, living in California. I dreamt that it was raining 3-legged cats.
That's an interesting one.
And, like, recently amputated legs, dripping blood. It was a scary dream.
Yeah, for a child. I mean, it's perplexing now.
It's perplexing now. But so I painted it when I was in high school.
Art really helps.
It does
process things.
And I wasn't having reoccurring dreams about that one, thankfully, because I probably would have gone insane. But art really helps.
It does. There's a whole have a whole book of like geometric art I used to do back when I had like my first brushes with anxiety in high school.
Yeah.
And each of them, I mean, they're not spectacular. It was just what I did to be able to keep myself from wigging out. And it was just something I did to keep my focus on one thing instead of everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I occasionally have gone back to that.
Yeah.
And it does help center my mind.
Yeah.
All right, man, let's just see what the second topic is.
I have a number of these. We don't necessarily have to go in order. The second one, however, let's just go for it. Who cares? Thought cycles. And so what I mean by this one is, for me, sometimes anxiety manifests in like holding on to a specific thought pattern.
For sure.
So, let's see.
You look for something, you find it, it confirms the anxiety gets bigger.
Yeah.
You find even more anxiety, and it keeps going and,
And it
going
keeps
and
going
going.
and
So you have to cut in there
Yeah.
and change what you're thinking, and even though those events are still occurring,
Yeah.
you're looking at them differently.
Yeah. And this is kind of a segue into the next section, which is panic attacks.
Oh, those are fun.
Because to me, panic attacks manifest when those thought cycles just perpetuate, and I can't break it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like my heart is increasing because I'm having the emotional experience,
Mm-hmm.
and then and then I'm like kind of justifying it in my mind. It's like, this is happening. My heart's going up. Why is it going up? It's because this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, and it just keeps going.
Yeah. I've had panic attacks since I think my sophomore year of high school. Is when I had my first one. That one wigged me out for about a month and a half, where I could only sit on a couch and play chess, and I could not do anything else.
Wow. A month-long panic attack?
I mean, yes. When I get them, it's not like what you experience when people get it and it lasts for like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Usually I've built it up to such a point by trying to manage it and ignore it. I get into that attack mode, and then my body just cannot move on from there.
Yeah.
And it takes days, weeks. Hell, I think even once it took 3 months.
Man.
So yeah, it's not a traditional, like, I've had those too, where I've had it, like, and I've been bad for 20, 30 minutes, and then, like, I'll go home and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I've had those, but...
I've had, like, the 20, 30-minute ones, then I've had the hour-long ones, and I feel like I've had some day-long ones, but never, like, weeks.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with the way I've learned to process and handle things, is just to put them over here and not know when it's built up to a point that I can't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
And then once you get past the point of no return, you have literally no ability to turn yourself back, and all you have is time.
Yeah. I don't know. So we don't currently have those abilities because we haven't learned how to manage them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there are things that we can do, and it's probably different for everyone.
What I mean is, your mind in that state does not have that ability.
No.
Healthy you from
Healthy
before
you.
has to plan
Yeah.
for anxiety you to
But-
give your anxiety you tools to get through it, because on your own you won't.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm not saying you won't, but
when you're stuck in the cycle, it's so hard to realize A, that you're having the cycle, and B, how to get out of it. And healthy, you can rationalize, I should have done X and I would have got out of it. But when you're in it, you're not seeing that. You're blinded by your panic, and you're just sitting there spinning, and you're losing. You have no traction.
and
it just
you
gets
can
worse and
even
worse and
know
worse.
you can even know it's there, but the cycle and the chemical reactions that have been going on in your brain for weeks or months, you can't just
Can't just turn it off.
Yeah, even if you recognize what you're doing is irrational, your body's pumped full of whatever,
all
and
those
you
chemicals.
can't just will yourself out of those feelings.
Yeah.
So it's the best thing you can do is just accept this about yourself and plan for it.
Yeah.
So you can give yourself, and also, know when you're starting to go down that road to being overstressed, and just like accept it and say, okay, you know what, I can't go out this weekend because I just need to sit.
Yeah.
Or I need to do something for me because I do not have, because this is going to, you have like a reservoir of what you can do.
Yeah.
And every time you do something
your stress bucket can only fit so much stress before it runs over, and then it turns into a waterfall of rage.
Yeah.
And then there's like no going back. You just have to wait for the waterfall to dissipate somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but
and then
the
try
key
and
is finding
build up
when you realize your bucket's starting to fill up, and not letting it spill over and turn into that waterfall.
Yeah, recognizes when it's starting to be weighed down before it just tilts out and just splashes everywhere. You want to, be able to take some of that water out and lift yourself back up.
Yeah.
So, because the effort to keep yourself in a good place is a lot less when you're up here than it is when you're down here.
Yeah, true that.
So, yeah, fighting.
So, resources. Let's give the viewers some resources for when you're coming up to one of these events and then when you're in one of them. So, the thing that helps me center myself the most when I'm in a panic attack is a metronome. And because I'll realize that I'm having a panic attack because my heart rate will be elevated and I'll feel it. My heart throb will just bam, 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 bam. And I'll rationalize and I'll try to be like, just slow down. And it doesn't work. So what I do is I'll set a metronome to just underneath of what my heart rate is at. And I'll try to, and I'll
step
count
it back,
and I'll just try to slowly try to step it back. And the other thing that I've done after, because now I've begun meditating and listened to many different people, and there are many different methods. But breath work helps a lot. And then what I do is I combine breath work and the metronome. And what I'll do is I'll measure my intake of breath. So I'll set the metronome to like 100 or 88 or wherever I am. You even do it like 140, depending on if you're like super stressed out. I know people have had 140 heart rates before when they're stressed. I know other people too. And so you set it, and then you count, and then on each breath cycle, you increase the amount of ticks on your exhale. Because the longer that you're exhaling will actually decrease your heart rate in that breath cycle. There's some medical science there, again, not professionals, but so and then you can increase your intakes as well, and then increase your outtakes too. So if you're starting, my definition of golden breathing is every 4 seconds you're inhaling, you're holding for 2 seconds, and then you're exhaling for 4 seconds, and then you're holding for 2 seconds. But then you bring that in, you kind of bring that similar thing, and then you play with it. So you do 4 ticks in, you five ticks out, 4 ticks in, 6 ticks out, and then you slowly increase those, and you don't worry about what your heart rate is doing, because or I don't. I'm like, just let it be. I'm in no control of this right now, but I can control my breath. And through the process of controlling my breath, ultimately that changes what my heart is doing. That's like the biggest thing that I can do. That, and then that's the biggest thing that I can do. The other thing that sometimes helps manage it before I'm in the stress event is I take cold baths.
Yeah, you've been talking to me about that for a while now.
It helps decrease my blood pressure, and it helps just chill me out.
So chill, man.
But it helps me focus on that event, because it's challenging. I don't do it because it's easy. I do it because it's challenging, and I focus on the challenge. And you can do nothing but focus on the fact that you're in this bucket of ice. And it's like, what am I doing here? And you're like, but you're only thinking about that bucket of ice. So there are so many other things that are going on in the world these days. Possibility of world war, the onset of death. There are so many other things. But when you're in that cold bath, there's only one thing, and it's the cold bath. So everything else just goes
freezing.
away. It's like, why am I here? And then so you work on your breaths. I try to take 20 controlled breaths, which rarely comes easy. But the more that you work on it, the more that you can control those breaths. And if you can control your breathing in an ice bath, then you can control your breath in many other situations in life. And when I connect with my breath, I feel like I'm connecting with a grounding force. So that's what I do. What do you do?
For me, I think a lot of it is when, especially for the longer duration episodes, is to holding on, like trying to create an anchor.
Yeah.
Something that is immutable that you can hold on to no matter like how bad it gets.
Yeah.
So, like, the more, like the it's hard to say, but like the more I've gone through it, I'm like, okay, I've done this before, A, and B, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
So
I didn't die last time.
I didn't
Probably
die.
not going to die this time.
There's a good chance that this is in my head. So you create that anchor, and you also try and create like one, you analyze yourself when you're going through each of these things, because I think the way my anxiety presents mostly is it really changes depending on how I am trying to deal with it. Because I'll get stomach issues one time, I'll get high pulse another time.
Yeah.
I'll feel like my face is on fire, like I have a fever of like 103 when my temperature's completely normal.
Yeah.
I've gotten itchy, I've gotten all kinds of stuff, and it's so hard because I feel like once I can convince myself that this is anxiety, it's like, haha, gotcha, bitch, I'm coming somewhere else. And it's like,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Because when I first experienced it, it was definitely like, it felt like my heart was pumping out. And the one thing I think that got rid of that for me is I kept feeling right here. Your heart is right here.
Oh. You realized that you were feeling the wrong thing.
I realized that I was feeling pain. I mean, granted, yeah, you can get pain in your left shoulder and stuff, but like, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
The heart pain didn't make sense in the context of like it should be up here and it's like down here.
Oh.
So, and I get a lot of heartburn with all my issues. So
Yeah.
if you get bad heartburn, that can sometimes present as
Yeah.
Chest pain. And once you like, I got that in my head and I like, it's in there. I can recall that even when I'm out of my mind, anxious, because I'm like, okay, it's a fact. This is where your heart is, and this is where the pain is, and it feels like it's going a mile a minute, but your heart's right here.
Yeah.
So what are you actually feeling heart issues, or are you manifesting them?
Yeah.
And so
it's strange how the human body can give itself issues.
Oh yeah, you make mountains out of molehills and create this all kinds of things that attribute all kinds of diseases to loneliness and lack of support. People die way earlier when they have anxiety, depression, and don't have a support system. And that's because a lot of it's in your head.
Yeah. So let's wrap it up with some resources for the listeners and the viewers.
Sure.
So let's see. There are some meditation techniques. There are breathing techniques.
There's the Calm app.
The Calm.
There's a bunch of apps on there that are great for meditation. Headspace. YouTube has a number of great guided meditation things that you can try at any given time, or yoga, which is also a great thing.
There's this one lady who her voice is so calm. If I'm like deep into it, I always just go to her. Let's see, and I might not say her name right, but it's Shandy Dungana.
Hello and welcome to today's guided meditation.
Okay.
She has the most calm voice.
Yeah, my friend John, I'll just call him John. He likes, when he goes to sleep, he watches Midsummer Murders.
What?
It's a British show, and it's all about, like, it's about murders, but it's all in like an idyllic countryside, and it's just so calming.
Wow.
And the way people talk, and he's just like, it seems absurd, but it calms me.
Yeah, that is absurd. But everyone has different things that work for them.
Oh yeah, you like the meditation ice bath.
Yeah.
I'll play pool.
Yeah.
Because when I play it, for whatever reason, like...
It's about the zen, man.
Yeah, it's about the zen, and that occurs for people in all different types of situations.
Yeah, that flow-like state, you can get into it through a number of different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get that state when I'm woodworking. Like,
sure, yeah.
Woodworking, art, breathing, cooking. I love to cook. And I feel like cooking helps me a lot because it's connecting me to my ingredients. I do feel like in this day and age, I am concerned about what I'm eating. And when I'm putting the ingredients into my dish, I know what's in it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I know what like tangible health benefits I may be getting from those materials versus
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing something into the microwave, taking it out and eating it, and it's got a book-long list of ingredients, none of which are organic materials. So it's like
I take a lot of medication, and if I looked at everything to do with that medication, I would not walk around. So it's not healthy, but I will ignore certain things because I just cannot accept that there's definitely I should cook more, and it's definitely healthier, and it it helps keep your anxiety at bay and keeps you healthy. But I also
everyone has time for it.
Yeah, that's true. Not everybody has time for it. And for me, it's just the medication is different. It's just and I just get in a habit. Like, I once opened up and it's like possible side effects, and it's like this long. I'm like,
man.
no, I don't need that.
And I'm like,
I don't want to know that.
I mean, everyone has seen a commercial.
Possible side effects: death.
It's like, damn.
That was pretty good. Death.
Why am I taking this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely food. That's great. Something I should do. Maybe we'll address it in our bro challenge.
Challenges. Let's go, because I hear my son and like.
Oh, we gotta get this done before everything.
Yeah,
okay.
He's gonna come down. He's gonna get us.
All right. Okay. Let's see here. So you want to go first because I need like a second to think of what I'm gonna.
Challenges.
Yeah, think of a challenge. I really write this.
I'm just gonna keep this last thread running.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to challenge you to cook once a week.
How dare you? No, that's it. That's actually really good. Are there any other conditions to what I have to cook? Like, it's not just like throwing a.
No, I'm not into.
No. I mean, it's not like
conditionalizing.
Throwing a microwave pizza. It's like you actually have to put together a dish.
Let's see. Okay, yeah. let me qualify.
You gotta understand. I'm gonna pull the easiest.
Yeah, the easiest.
Crappy ass method to do it.
I like your style.
So, no, I'm honest. That's not.
Yeah, I value your honesty. Let's see. I'll put some qualifying terms here. You need to, let's say, here we go.
Okay.
You need to cook and include, dun, 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 3 vegetables. 3 raw vegetables.
Oh, I can eat raw vegetables? Okay.
No, it's a cooked dish.
Oh, I don't want to cook.
You must cook them.
Vegetables.
But I'm saying you must.
Awful.
You can do anything with these 3 ingredients. But like you can throw them in a pan, add something into them. So it's not like when I cook, sometimes I'll overdo the from scratch, and I'll make my seasoning blend, my curry blend. I'll try to do everything from scratch, but honestly, it's a ton of work, and I never have time for it anymore. So,
all right,
you can augment these 3 things with anything, any way that you want, but you must include 3 different vegetables
in each meal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And no. So remember, I only gave you a challenge of cooking once a week,
Mm-hmm.
and so It can be if you really want to be cheap here, you use the same vegetables each time.
Okay.
It doesn't have to
Well,
be
I
different.
mean, it would be the same as like saying, okay, I'm gonna do cooked carrots and this time, and then I'm gonna do steamed broccoli the next time. But no, I
Yeah.
gotta do cooked carrots, steamed broccoli, and
I'm saying one meal,
Okay.
3 different vegetables.
Oh my gosh.
There are many meals where I'll eat 8 different vegetables. So I feel like I'm letting you out easy here.
All right. That's that. Okay.
All right, what's my challenge?
What's your challenge?
I'm curious.
Let's see. Ooh. How about making like a beat or a beginning theme song for the podcast?
Challenge accepted.
Like
like
if we
that.
want to put vocals into it, we can do that together. But like if you want, because I know you
music?
have the keyboards
I have
and
a
you have that
keyboard.
crap, and maybe you can get your little buddy to help you out too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm thinking he would love that, and that's not something that's going to be
it's a good challenge.
overly time.
How long does it have to be?
No more than a minute, maybe
more than a
30
minute.
seconds.
All right.
Like longer than 10 seconds, and not longer than a minute, because I think most intros are like around
it's
that.
like 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think would be good for you,
It's a good
because
challenge.
you could put on headphones and you could do it at night, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a long time intensive thing for
Yeah.
you to do.
Okay.
All
Any
right.
other qualifying terms?
No, just
Make an opening song
for Brohelio.
for Bro Helio no longer than a minute. All right, I like it. It's a good challenge.
No shorter than 10 seconds. You can't
Yeah.
just go Brohelio.
I'm just gonna record myself. Scene.
Scene. All right. Well, this has been Sean
And Joel.
We thank you for watching, and we'll try not to suck as much next time.
No, we did great.
Oh, we did. Yeah, self-talk.
Yeah, we're not here to self-deprecate.
That's true.
This is a healing environment.
Oh, and we're gonna have social media, so you can reach out and talk
Yeah.
to us, and hopefully we'll have
Maybe
people
give us
call in
topics.
eventually. Give us topics.
Yeah.
Tell us about your successes. Tell about your issues, so we can talk about it. Instead
Very
of just us
interested
two.
in people's relations, or like how they kind of experience our same topics, and
Sure.
maybe focus on those 3 things that we did. What you experienced, how it made you feel, and then what you did about it. Because I think that really what the audience, what we all kind of want is we want to be able to get out of these stressful events and have resources to do it.
True, but also I think another thing is just like being able to talk about things,
Yeah.
because I think a lot of men
They
and
don't
dudes
talk
in
about it.
general just keep things bottled up until like I have a theory that a lot of dudes just straight up don't go to the fucking doctor.
Yeah,
They don't, because it makes them appear weak. Because, oh my gosh! All right,
Hey,
guys,
buddy!
we got to wrap this up real quick because our friends are here, and a lot of people don't go to the doctor because it makes them appear weak, and that's
But it's ultimately
It's
they're
all-
scared.
yeah,
They're
because
scared
they
of
don't.
dying.
Yeah, they're scared of dying, but they're also scared of appearing weak or being weak in front of other people
Yeah.
because it's so punished and not
That's
great.
true.
All right,
True.
well,
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
listening,
much.
viewing. If we ever publish this,
yeah, we
have
will.
a great one.
And let's see where the